So, day one, and the newly immunized Trump reposted a meme on Truth Social calling for Judge Merchan to be removed and charged.
Ron Merchan, the same crooked judge that convicted Trump, has now sentenced Steve Bannon to 4 months in prison. I stand with Steve Bannon.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump's longtime ally, Steve Bannon, turned himself into prison after the Supreme Court rejected his appeal. Mr. Bannon will serve a 4-month prison sentence for defying multiple subpoenas investigating January 6. The former White House chief strategist said he has no regrets about his actions before turning himself into police.
I am proud to go to prison.
If you want a glimpse of what 2025 is going to look like if this dotard is in the White House, this ought to do it. Trump called for Democrats and Republicans, including his former VP Mike Pence, to be jailed. Trump shared a post that read,
"They should be going to jail on Monday, not Steve Bannon. Where is the evidence?"
Unreal. The post then included a large image of various House January 6 committee members, as well as Mitch McConnell, Pence, Biden, Pelosi, and Kamala Harris.
My ultimate and absolute revenge.
Diaper Donnie has been calling for Liz Cheney to be arrested and jailed for a long time, including 3 months ago when he posted,
"She should be prosecuted for what she's done to our country. She illegally destroyed the evidence. Unreal."
Oh yeah, Pouty Funkwinkle claims that Cheney and the January 6 committee withheld evidence. This from a widely debunked article from the Federalist editor-in-chief, a woman named Molly Hemingway. In the article, Hemingway says, this from a widely debunked article from the Federalist editor-in-chief, a woman named Molly Hemingway. Hemingway said, Cheney's January 6 committee suppressed evidence that Trump pushed for 10,000 National Guard troops to protect the nation's capital. Evidence? You're high. It supposedly came from this smoke. Deputy Chief of Staff Anthony Ornato, who was first interviewed by the committee 2.5 years ago. This is where he told Cheney and her investigators that he overheard White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows push the mayor of D.C. to request as many National Guard troops as she needed to protect the city. By the way, Ornato was the guy who told Casey Hutchinson that Trump freaked out in the Beast and tried to grab the wheel and drive to the Capitol.
So once the president had gotten into the vehicle with Bobby, he thought that they were going up to the Capitol, and when Bobby had relayed to him, we don't have the assets to do it, it's not secure, we're going back to the West Wing. The president had very strong, a very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel."
But here's the rub. Tiny Fingers brought the crowd to the mall, sent them to the Capitol, sat on his ass for 187 minutes while they stormed the Capitol, calling for the hanging of Pence and Pelosi, and has since claimed he offered Nikki Haley 10,000 troops.
Nikki Haley, did you know they destroyed all of the information, all of the evidence, everything, deleted and destroyed all of it, because of lots of things. Like Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people. Soldiers, National Guard, so whatever they want, they turned it down.
First of all, he has a cognitive disorder.
Yeah, he's nuts, and here's another rub. Pelosi has absolutely no power to call in the National Guard. Neither did the mayor of D.C. The mayor of D.C. barely has the power to put up a stop sign, much less launch a military action. Who did? Tiny Fingers. The idea that Trump wanted the National Guard there is disputed by everything that's ever come out of his mouth. Fatty McFugface wants it both ways. He wants to pardon the insurrectionists.
If I win, we will treat those people from January 6th fairly. And if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons.
And then claim to have wanted 10,000 soldiers to descend upon them. But the real part to chew on regarding this cognitively declining ass dump calling for the arrest and incarceration of people who simply follow the law is this. He knows the Supreme Court belongs to him. And Tiny Fingers' attack is a message. Do what I say or else.
Trump has suggested he would seek retribution against his so-called political enemies if he returns to the White House.
I know a lot of Republicans want retribution. They want to do that. We're going to see what happens.
It's a terrible, terrible path that they're leading us to. And it's very possible that it's going to happen to them.
Revenge does take time, I will say that.
It does.
And sometimes revenge can be justified.
But calling out Cheney makes sense. I mean, she's on the record.
Just yesterday in an interview, you said fundamentally there's a choice to be made. You can't be both for Donald Trump and for the Constitution. You have to choose.
Yeah.
A vote for Donald Trump is unconstitutional, anti-American.
Well, he won't support and uphold the Constitution. We've already seen what happened. He is the only president in American history who attempted to overturn an election, who attempted to seize power, to stay in power after he had lost. And the reason that we didn't have a much more serious crisis was because there were people around him who stopped him, because there were people around the country, state officials, for example, who stopped him, who did not yield to the pressure that he put on them to change votes from Biden to Trump. We won't have that safeguard again.
But where Cheney stood up to Trump's insanity, McConnell has never called for Trump to be removed. He kissed Tiny Finger's ass for 8 years, but at the end, quit pursing his lips and decided to shut up. So now, Donnie Diaper wants his revenge.
Donald Trump blasted Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell as a dour, sullen, and unsmiling political hack who doesn't have what it takes, accusing Democrats of playing McConnell like a fiddle and suggesting Republicans will not win again if they stay with him. The lengthy 8-paragraph statement, the most significant sign yet of the Republican Party's split in the post-Trump era, after an impeachment trial in which McConnell voted to acquit the former president, but still blamed him for the siege on the Capitol.
January 6th was a disgrace.
The fact that Trump is attacking the Republican Party should bring this home loud and clear.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
The Republican Party is dead. More than dead. Deader than Rob Schneider's film career. And Trump is going after them as a call to the rest of these limp dicks.
You know what? I'm hearing the Pence just caved.
No.
Is that true? I'm hearing reports that Pence caved. I'm telling you, if Pence caved, we're going to drag through the streets.
Trump will take down the Republicans and replace them with these humps. All felons, all the time. And of course, the question is, if Trump gains power, how far could he go? Well, that's a good question. And the answer seems to be as far as the court lets him.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Trump's newfound immunity rests on a simple question. Is attacking those he falsely claims tried to steal an election an official act? Thomas and Alito think so. Can Trump get 3 more votes? And what would that mean?
She says looking beyond the fate of this particular prosecution, the long-term consequences of today's decision are stark. The court effectively creates a law-free zone around the president, upsetting the status quo that has existed since the founding.
And here's the most sobering thought. Even if Trump loses, does anyone believe he'll concede? Of course not. The Republican Party will go to the states that Trump lost, and those states who have Republican legislators will try to be convinced to appoint a whole new cast of electors who will then vote for Trump. And SCOTUS will go right along.
He now will be insulated from criminal prosecution.
It is a tragic irony that the week we celebrate our Declaration of Independence, that this court has decided to declare something else entirely, that the Constitution was merely a suggestion, that they hold the power to peddle influence, to obtain gifts from those who reward them, and to join Trump as a roadmap to ending this 250-year-old experiment like this. Trump wants Judge Merchan to send him to jail on July the 11th. But the judge, he won't do it. Trump doesn't get to be a martyr. But still, a convicted felon whose court cases have been discarded by Trump judges will stay free and a real threat to every American who stands up to his insanity. We can only hope that a future court will one day bring our nation justice. Or it could be high cholesterol. I'm good either way.
Who's with me?
Hi, what's up?
Time to pack it up.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, right.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.